Thank you very much for the introduction.
Welcome. Welcome.
How's everyone going? Can I see a show of hands for audience participation? We've got about 20%, 30, 40, 50, 60. Come on. Okay, hopefully by the end of this, the other 40 will be into it as well. Okay, let's go. When I finished law school in Sydney, Australia, and following law school, you're obliged to work with a lawyer. And a piece of advice he gave me is very relevant right now, I believe, especially for that 40% who didn't raise their hands. He said to me, there are three types of people in this world. There's the person who makes mistakes and doesn't learn. There's the person who makes mistakes and then learns. And there's the person who looks at others' mistakes and learns. Now, listening to our esteemed guests today, we all have the opportunity to take fast track number 3. That feels like 100% attention. We can start. Thank you very much, first of all, Jayantha. Thank you very much, Venkatesh. First question, I'm going to cut straight to the chase. Do you guys actually have a formula for choosing a speaker?
It's a hard question, but I'll take that. So I represent EO, which is an organization of high net worth entrepreneurs, and I'm past chair of Young India, which is younger entrepreneurs. So we have two types of audience here. One who's younger entrepreneurs, aspiring, and one is established, and they really want value for the time. So in both cases, these associations that I am part of as a voluntary member leader, which means I don't get paid for the work I do for EO or YI, we have something called the learning calendar, which we put together at the beginning of the year. EO works from July to June, YI works from April to March, like the Indian calendar. So the learning calendar is put together based on what the members need for that particular year. Now, how do we find out? We run a survey. We run a survey and ask them, hey, what are your pain points that you're struggling with in your business? What is it, the one thing that is, if fixed today, will scale up your business? What is the one thing which will help you to move from working in the business to on the business? I'm purely talking from these two organizations, which are largely entrepreneurs, okay, and less of professionals. So based on this, we get a survey done. And it could be leadership, time management, listening to my wife, multiple things we get. Seriously, we did have a speaker come in from abroad who spoke about spousal relationships. So multiple things that we kind of capture at the beginning of the year. So based on the weightage, we kind of decide the calendar. So typically we look at 12 events in a year, which are keynote, large scale events. Then we also look at one workshop a quarter. And then we also look at smaller events, which is called boardroom sessions, right? Which is like 20, 30 people. Because we are looking at high engagement. Think of the analogy for your students or your kids that you want to send to school. You don't want a teacher-student ratio, which is 1:50 or 1:60. You would ideally want it smaller, right? So because these are high net worth individuals, we look at that ratio as well. So I do respect all the speakers who want to talk to hundreds of people, but there is a different kind of audience out there who also are very limited in number, but who would compensate well for your time as well. So the primary thing is we listen to our member associations. We put together the survey. We have the topics. The calendar is formed. The speakers are not formed, right? So now based on the calendar, then we look for speakers, right? So that's the formula at a high level. These speakers could be experts in their domain, could be people that the board knows. Like if I'm the president, then I might know creativity means James Taylor or Frederick. Or if it's MC, unconference, and it's Kriba. So I might know a few people. The rest of the board might as well know a few people. Sometimes we don't know anyone, right? For example, we wanted to have something called the 2-minute story, which is about the Maggie debacle and the uprising again. They went from 80% market share to 0 and back to 45. So we wanted to write to the MD, CEO of Nestle and get him there. So that's a different ball game, but we're looking at professional speakers, so that's not something I'm talking about. So the key takeaway here is you need to know who heads these organizations. You need to make sure you're aware, you're known to them, at least one of them on the board, and typically there is a paid staff to help us out. So they are called like a chapter admin or a chapter manager. It'll be good to send your resume or your profile or your link, your website address to these people, because so that when the board is discussing, then at least we know, okay, hey, if it's public speaking, then one of you could come and help us out as leaders to speak to our employees, how to speak better with humor, with stories, with engagement, right? So this is a largely a high-level, picture. Yeah?
Just want to dig a little bit deeper before moving on. You referred to pain points and about setting out a list for the forthcoming year of topics.
Right.
I think it'd be incredibly useful for speakers to understand how can they find out what's on that list. If it's possible, perhaps that's actually not possible, but so that they can prepare themselves, target you, not simply become known in advance without any sort of direction.
No, that's a great question. Actually, right now it's not even, it's kind of held only to our members and to our board, but taking cue from this, I might go back and suggest them put it on the website so that, we can get potential speakers to write to us. Right now we don't, so the only way is, like, write to us. But great idea. It's a learning for me, something to go back and do.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Let me first tell about the background of innovative services which we have started earlier. It's a 10-year-old company. We have been dealing with colleges, institutions like colleges, schools, and other corporates. Predominantly, college and school are the bigger market for us. 2 years back, the entire experience of ours with college, we found that there's a big demand for the keynote speakers. We are in touch with a lot of speakers. I am passionate about listening to a lot of good speakers. I used to go, sit down and listen to good speakers. And I found out the gap between the college management, school management and the speakers. So we have formed a celebrity speaker bureau. It's called Celebrity Speaker Bureau to have attraction. That's the idea behind it. We have got about 100 plus people in that Celebrity Speaker Bureau. Right now, out of 30 they have signed MOU with us. We act as a bridge between the college, institutions and the speakers. Formula, there is no formula. Basically, we work on demand because the call comes to us. So in turn, we will send the list of profiles to the college owners or the person deciding. Based on their requirement, purely based on their budget. We are very, very clear that we do not want to do any speaking assignment free of cost, which we have stopped 2 years back, which we have been doing it for quite some time. So after that, there is a big demand for that market, close to around minimum 50 assignments we are doing every month, and we are very comfortable doing that. And I appeal to everyone here, do not do anything free of cost. That is the first thing which I think last session you have been talking about. So we are here to provide a great platform, and I'm happy to say that Inspiring Ilango, Nandita Pandey and Shivakumar Palniappan are a part of our team, and we are doing it comfortably. There's no such formula. We work on demand.
As to the platform which you formed, for speakers who want to join your platform, what do they need to have? What do they need to do?
We don't have a big criteria. Only thing is they have to send us their profile, and we have to work with them for 1 year. Because honestly speaking, whatever the feedback we receive from the client, we'll pass it on to we don't have any reservations to talk to any trainers as such. That is the only transparency which we maintain. Basically, for any speaker, the feedback is the most important thing which we have come across. And if we hide the feedback telling to the speaker, then it becomes a challenge. So 1 year is the time which we would like to work with any speaker before taking them into a complete commercial platform. That 1 year is the playground which they can play around, even if it is a startup. If they want to start up their profession, they come, we'll create opportunity for them across languages. We are now in South India, of course, doing a lot of assignments across the globe also.
That's great. As to topics, what trends do you see right now in the market?
Okay.
For both. For both.
On topics and trends, I think we find a need for two different types of topics. One is I would classify this as more from a customer's perspective. One is the one that inspires, that motivates, that gives you the 30,000 feet high altitude kind of vision. So that's the inspiring talk. So it's very good for, say, new trends, new technology, or where you want to change direction for a company or an association. And that's one, definitely, it's an ongoing evergreen demand, I would think, like the keynotes. The other one, which is at the other extreme is the coaching and the training, which I'm not going to talk about because I don't have that much of experience dealing with. But between the extreme of coaching and training and the keynotes, there's a big lacuna forming. And as the voice of the customer here, I can tell you that members do want takeaways, solid, implementable takeaways. They're happy to get motivated, they're happy to get inspired, but they do want to go the next day in office and start doing something, at least one thing. I understand that in a 45-minute keynote, you can't really give them like a workshop session. That's not practical. But if you call them for a workshop, I know from practice, we had somebody from Finland come down for a workshop, and we are like 70 people in EO, and we had 20 people signing up. And we had all the way from Sweden. So people don't come and spend time for a workshop. That's another challenge. So somewhere in the middle, there is this opportunity where professional speakers who could become a cross between pure keynote, pure training, and somewhere in the middle where they can combine tools and keynotes and inspiring with takeaways. So I'm seeing that's a clear trend, and in my experience, when I search for speakers, either they say, yes, we do workshops one day, or we do only keynote. I'm finding it hard to find speakers who can actually do something in the middle. For example, we have Jack Daly coming in in March from the US, who's going to help our members build a sales playbook. So he's a very famous keynote keynote speaker on sales, but we've requested him that we don't want to only talk about sales and go away. We want you to actually help us to know how to build the sales playbook out. So it's a 3-hour session, right? So it's not like a one-day workshop and then like attention, the speaker is also not willing. So it's like something in the middle. So that is a trend we are seeing nowadays.
So if I understand you correctly, skills, imparting skills that are implementable.
Exactly. The keyword,
immediately.
Omran, is implementable. Yeah.
Very valuable to you guys out there. Anyone who's got something useful to offer up, some skills to offer up, there's demand.
So as far as institution concerned, we deal more of a keynote speaking. A person with a brand, for example, if it has to be identified, a trainer by the name, along with one topic they are identified, we have a huge potential to do that. Example, if you talk about personality development or whatever it may be, I'm talking about something unique with their title. They are able to market themselves much better than telling that I can do everything, which is again a bigger area and people will not be able to concise with a smaller thing. You have to be with a individual brand saying that. For example, if you talk about a Tamil workshop which we have started 2 years back, it was really a challenge for us to bring in audience, paid audience for a regional language, because this is not a trend at all, which we have created. We have got a huge pool of speakers. We want to engage them. We have to, again and again, we have to be in touch with them. We have taken it to the smaller cities, and we have kept the charges below 1,000 rupees. And you will not believe, every city we have received 1,000 audience to come to that workshop. And now it has become a brand. Kanavu Meipada in Tamil, in English, if you say it is dream to reality. It has become a huge market now. Trainers are happy. I'm talking about the keynote speakers are happy. And their visibility has gone very high. And people around, in and around that city, the institutions started engaging them. And we are able to create a bigger market. That is how we are able to do per day. Example, yesterday was the good day for us if we talk about 8 events across the Tamil Nadu at one single day, because I am sitting at Chennai, my people have been coordinating. That is the maximum number which we have done so far. So that is the kind of huge market for each and every one. In Tamil. Tamil and English, of course. There are few things. I could rate it as the 70-30 ratio, 70% regional language and 30% in English. So try to stick on to one thing, which title for your name. And you can play around with that actually. Institutions also has one more thing in the vacation. They do a 2 days faculty development program. Most of our trainers are engaged in that actually, to take care of the teachers to be trained in the school and institutions, of course, college. Thank you.
Venkatesh, you referred to there being an issue where people are too general and that they need to be specific. What other problems or issues do you see in the approach of speakers that needs to be modified?
Talking about speakers.
Yes, speakers now. Because the speakers, you said, they're too general, and so they've got to be very precise in what message they're delivering. What other problems do you see with speakers and their approach?
Branding themselves becomes a problem, because the consistency has to be maintained by the speakers, because a lot of people come to us asking for the speaking assignments, and they will also be doing some other profession as well. So they will not be able to focus their attention. And whatever we say, whenever we go to them again, they don't respond at all. There are few people, which I am not talking about general. So if you are decided to become a professional speaker, I would love that you would to focus on only on that, so that there's a huge potential, because I know there are few speakers who charge a bomb. I'm talking about 1 lakh per 45 minutes, and we are able to engage them for minimum of 15 days in today's condition, which we are doing it actually. That's a huge money is involved. Only thing, consistency has to be maintained, and they have to brand themselves properly with one set of things. Definitely it is possible.
What speakers could modify themselves to get better? Is that the question?
Well, yeah. What problems have you seen with speakers that basically turns you off?
Yeah. So
rather than attract.
Right, not a bad experience with speakers. Okay. So I think I'll talk of a couple of experiences without naming the speakers, because I'm sure it was unintentional. So we had a speaker from Canada coming in. The topic was the art of the pitch, right? To help us to sell better, or to help us to make bigger pitches or better pitches. And this was in Ooty, and we had 40 Australian EOers with 50 Coimbatore EOers at a camp in Ooty. And hence we have wanted someone international to come in and talk to us. So this gentleman, and we had 2-day program, and he was coming the second day. So the first day program is going on, and he's landed in Mumbai. It is night in Ooty, and we have a socials, which is like a party thing going on. And then we get a call saying that, hey, I'm in Bombay, and I have some bit of a challenge, getting to the next flight. I said, what's the problem? Let me know. He said, they're not letting me out. I said, maybe you didn't get your bag in or something. No, I don't know what's the problem. Then he calls back and says, they're asking something called a visa. I'm like, okay. And he's the main guy for the next day morning session. And he's in Mumbai, and he doesn't have a visa. And he also says after that, the person coordinating did not tell me that I have to get a visa to come to India. That really, threw us off. But then I don't want to say how we did it, because it's in a recorded session. We did get him a visa by midnight, and we got him out of the Bombay airport, and he came down. But I'll give you one more example, and then I'll go on to the takeaways. One more example is a lifestyle coach from Mumbai, whom we had at Coimbatore 3 years back. Absolute success. The ladies loved him. The gents loved him. People lost weight. People started training for the marathon. So 3 years was good enough time to call him back again. He would have refreshed his content, and our people have started putting on weight. It's 3 years since we've seen him, including me. So I was the learning chair. I wrote to him, and interestingly, he didn't reply. His secretary replied this time, and he said, she takes care of things. That's fine. He must have become more popular, more, busy, which is a good thing. And then the secretary gives me a hard time in booking the dates. It's still okay because he's busy. Finally, we get the dates booked in. And then we tell him, look, since the flight is only the next evening is the talk, the next day afternoon is the flight back. And he's got nothing else to do in Coimbatore. So we say, morning we want to have a breakfast with you, just the board of the association, because board are all volunteers. They're giving time without getting paid. So we want to give them some extra, And he says, no, I don't do breakfast anymore. Okay, fine, no problem. At least hang around after the talk, because I'm getting concerned now. He's not willing to do breakfast, even though he's sitting idle, and he's going to eat anyway. So the night dinner, we ask him, please hang around after the session. People want to talk to you and just take selfies with you, things like that. And he says, no, I'm not going to stay back. I will finish the talk and I'll go to my room. So this was, and we are paying him 3 lakhs for this talk, for coming down, then everything extra. So the learning for us was, I think, we're feeling very stressed with the fact that as a customer, we're not getting this extra icing on the cake. We don't want him to do anything for free. We don't want him to give him a consultation for free, but we just want to spend more time with us, right? And that's what members really treasure, especially in Young Indians EO, because we're giving them exclusive access to an otherwise not accessible person, right? That's the value other than the content. So other than the content, the members would really like to get access and time with you, because they're respecting you as a speaker, and they're all going to turn up and listen to you. So these two were experiences where we felt like if they can see from the customer's view, extra small things would make the experience wow, right? It doesn't hurt to stay back for another half an hour or have breakfast, but that makes a big difference. Like, for example, Frederick was actually in Coimbatore last week, and he had an amazing keynote with him, and he had to go back to Singapore for his son's football game, and he explained that to us apologetically that I have to leave by 11 p.m. and we didn't expect him to be apologetic. It was very nice and refreshing to see a global keynote speaker who is humble and authentic. So we said, we will get you to the airport, and one of our members got him to the airport and sent him off. So stark contrasts, right?
So essentially, as advice to already successful and upcoming speakers, it's critical to be humble, in your view. Humility is a critical factor.
Yes, and also seeing small pain points from the customer's perspective which they can take care easily. They don't have to burn cash to take care, but just easily, a little bit extra that they can give to the members. Yes. Coriander, yes, exactly.
So far as speaking to C-suites, to executives, and speaking to people at different levels of organizations, is there a difference? And do speakers need to tailor themselves to different levels?
So I think yes. I think to C-suites and to say employees or to professionals or to students, I think it's two different types of messages, because I think again it comes back to what content do they want from you. Like I said, at student community or in a company where you have a large employee base, like a HCL or a TCS, and they want to do some change management, they want to refresh themselves, they're starting a new financial year, they're doing a strategy summit, then the need is change, inspiration, and motivation. So then the content is different. But if you're going to sit with, say, a C-suite, and they're saying, hey, I've gone through this journey, and right now I'm motivated, that's why I'm sitting in this job itself. Otherwise, like somebody said, professional speaking is a lonely business. Being an entrepreneur is an equally lonely business. So you're already motivated, that's why you're there in the job, that's why you signed up to come here for, the summit. So what do they want is clear takeaways. So again, it comes down to knowing your audience better. So if you know your audience better, so we proactively from EO, we always prep the speaker. Some of the speakers really appreciate it. Some of the speakers get into panic mode saying, hey, he's going to change my talk now. What am I going to do? He's asking for things I'm not prepared. Some of the speakers are indifferent. So I think if they understand the purpose behind the prepping, or you proactively ask for a prepping, already you're a success, right? Because then the organizer is going to go out of the way to make sure that your talk is going to be successful. Because for him, his name is on the line. He's bringing you over, right? And then 100 people are going to watch you. And if it's successful, they'll say, great speaker. If it's not successful, they'll say, Jayantha did a bad job. So that's the two things that happened. So it's great if you can actually ask for a prep session. I think a few of the speakers mentioned that. I remember James using artificial intelligence to an extent, or even a regular phone call would do as well.
So according to us, the call will come vague because they will call up and ask for a specific topic. To avoid all the confusions, to take care of our speaker, because both ends we have a challenge. This side it's going to be an institutional head who is going to have, for example, if you take in any institution for that matter, it's a good institutions, I've got 25,000 students. The institutional head will be a great man. But the problem is, identifying the speaker becomes a challenge. He has something in his mind which their students may not like it actually. To avoid all these confusions, we send a form, basic form which has got about 10 things to be filled up. Type of audience, gender-based, number of audience, all these things will be asked for actually. And what is that they expect out of a speaker? Most of the cases, they will bring a humorous speaker where the serious audience will be there. And otherwise also, because something they want really serious. And somebody might be joking in the stage which we want to avoid that. So all the questioner has got all the details, basic details. Last column is most important, budget. Because they might be having a super speaker in their mind and the budget is very low. And we cannot match that. That is the only area we differ with the speaker and the client. So all these things, if it is filled up, we will suggest them with a speaker. At times they come with a specific demand of this speaker I want. So what is the budget? It is very easy for us to match and give it. If the dates are okay, we will do that. If at all they give us options, we will send them 3 or 4 profiles in that particular area. If it is humorous speaker, we will send 4 or 5 profiles. Let them choose. It is their choice. Purely it is their choice. And if they pick up and the budget is okay, then the entire data we will send it to the speaker. The speaker will go prepared and there will not be any mess up inside the hall. Feedback will be excellent. We have done about hundreds of events and not even a single place proudly we can say we have never had any bad experience with the client saying that the speaker is bad, because the groundwork is very, very strong and we have a back office team which is doing that. So that way it is very easy for us to do that.
The background work which you talked about now was mainly the message that the speaker is to deliver. You referred to humility as a character trait that is favourable from the view of the buyer. What other personality, not just, we've got the message must be on target and what the client wants. What about personality traits? You know, the idea of before you have, you must first be.
Sure.
What does the speaker need to be, personality-wise?
Right. So I'll go to the decision making. What happens? Let's say you've not written to us, and we are kind of looking up and deciding on our own. In this cases, it's typically a committee, but led by a champion who decides the speaker. These are all volunteer roles, right? So that means there is no purchase manager involved. He's not going to do a comparison chart. He's not going to make a list of parameters and then compare you out and say, what is your score? That is not happening, okay? Even if it could be a $20,000 gig, it's still not happening, unfortunately. So there's a lot of checklists that different board members are going to see from their respective perspectives. For example, the integration chair is going to say, is he going to bring crowd? The learning chair is going to say, is he going to bring content? The president is going to say, is he going to be okay for the money I'm paying him? So from this perspective, the speaker is being evaluated through different lens, right? So what happens is, how do you address this need? So it comes down to how you are projecting yourself on the website, the demo reels, the show reels. I think that the master classes were excellent. I think I was attending many of them yesterday. I think the examples of having demo reels, show reels, good pictures, all this goes a long way to quickly deciding, because they're not going to fully read everything. They're not going to see your demo reel 100%. If it is a regular event, maybe if it's an annual day event, then maybe yes, there's going to be a lot of analysis being done. But otherwise, it is going to be making sure that the basics are in place, and then there's a healthy balance between intuition on how they feel and the quality of the speaker. So this is a hard truth from the other side of the table. So you do need to do everything. It doesn't mean they're going to read every single paragraph and statement and full stop and comma, but it needs to be there. So that's what I would think happens.
From our side, it is more of a consistency and time management. If these two parameters are met, we'll be able to handle any kind of trainers, because the demand is huge for us actually. Every time we'll end up with the same set of trainers again and again. For example, if you talk about a Rotary conference typically, of course Rekha madam will acknowledge that. Every year they will call up the same set of speakers, where we are trying to create new set of speakers actually. From our perspective, innovative is getting branded with a set of celebrity speakers for us, but we would love to really create new set of speakers for us, because there is a big demand for us. So time management and the consistency is the two area. If they are able to maintain that, we will be able to support them in a big way.
I have more questions to continue with, but given that the value that is sought to be had here is for all of you, is there any questions from the audience that anyone wants me to put or wants to put themselves, or should we just continue? There is. Okay.
He's coming to the field first time, but he knows speaking, he speaks in his area, he has good content and everything. How do you judge him? How do you take him on the board? How do you give him the assignments?
Basically, from outside, we have a set of closed audience, which is basically our own team. About 20-30 people are there actually. First, we will expose them to them. That is the basic thing which you would love to do that. It is not to underestimate anybody, just to before taking them onto the stage, we want to be doubly sure, because for us, we have a choice, but for trainer, they should not get disappointed. First stage is most important for anybody in life. I am not a good speaker. Basically, I am not a speaker at all. But the kind of confidence which we have created over a period of time interacting with speakers, given me the opportunity to talk here actually, like which first stage is most important. So we expose them to a smaller audience. If they are able to perform better, straight away we will give them the opportunity.
So you mean to say you will be taking the mock, a demo?
Yeah, demo, basically a demo.
If a speaker has to fly 1,000 kilometers away, he has to bear the charges, right? Or there is any other way?
No, till now we have not experienced like that, because we are playing around, regional only. So we have to think over that actually.
Can I add something?
Thank you.
Please go.
So just add to what Mr. Venkatesh said, he has a professional team, so they could evaluate. In the case of organizations or associations, they don't have a professional team. So it becomes the power of the referral. Even if it's a new speaker, if you have spoken somewhere, maybe not paid, but in a Rotary Club or in some other association, and somebody there can give you a referral, it actually carries more weightage than your profile and pictures and everything else. For example, we had the speaker we picked from Malaysia who spoke about the power of stories, and I've never heard about him before. And it's a risk we took because it came through somebody I trusted. So we said, okay, we're going for it. So that trust is there between networks, within associations, across associations. So if you can follow that thread, who is connected to whom, by asking, by or through LinkedIn, whatever, typically that helps a lot. The power of the referral is amazingly powerful.
So 2 points effectively there was that there's internal due diligence done before speakers are put out to the market, and emphasis on the importance of your network.
Correct.
And finding out who knows who, and being linked into those who you need to be linked into. Any other questions?
One other question which I feel is that the speakers and the professional speakers, they concentrate and focus on building their content, their style, etc. How do you all, or do you all invest in making the speakers as a brand? They're creating their own image.
The power of stories, the speaker from Malaysia. So because he was unknown and we were the only chapter in India who picked him up, the remaining big chapters like Delhi, Bombay only want named, popular, big speakers. They will not pick this unknown speaker from Malaysia. So we did pick him up because we have smaller budgets compared to Delhi. So he was an amazing success, but he's still unknown. So I personally wrote mails to at least 4 or 5 other presidents in India saying that this guy is amazing, please do consider him. And these people do take it very seriously because it's going to add value to the members. Because that's a voluntary role. I'm not gaining anything, he's not gaining anything as a president. But another president recommending someone is going to be extremely useful. So that's the only way we help in investing, or upcoming speaker, we kind of refer him proactively. Or we give him a testimonial if he asks us.
For us, if the opportunity is given to any business leader or trainer, we have a set of people actually. Starting from, we will brand them. To begin with, we prepare them for a 2 minutes video, give them a proper profile, correct them, and then put them onto a grooming session actually, basically. All these things are done, and definitely we'll be able to support them. And we have a team of professionals who are engaged in that. So 1 year we'll handhold them to ensure that we give each and every tip is given to the trainer so that they become a master blaster from that year onwards.
Are there any particular areas which you think are, areas where there is less, where there are less speakers, or where there is an opportunity right now in terms of where there aren't that many people speaking?
Topics you are talking about. Yes, for Chennai has got about 2,500 schools. Market size I'm talking about. Every school wants to train their teachers. Every trainer can do that. Faculty development. It is about a 2 days class or a 1 week class which we can decide upon.
I was thinking more of speaking rather than training.
You are talking about keynote. Time management is the area which is pending from our side, which we are looking for a lot of people.
For us, getting things done, that's the demand. GTD.
Question from front.
Yeah. So you were talking about the consistency and time management. These are 2 things. So consistency is regarding the topic. And when you're saying time management, then what do you mean by time management?
No, we have few bitter experiences where trainer come late for the training, which is not acceptable. That is the only thing which I don't want to mention. Since you asked for, I have to tell actually. Consistency, because they come for a speaking assignment with full enthusiasm. Over a period of time, again, they will go and join in some other institution. And whenever we call back, they don't come back. That is the problem. So if they have decided to become a speaker, it is a hard journey. I am not saying that it's very, very comfortable. Because the kind of money which you have to make on a certain period is very, very difficult for somebody to take that decision. But 1 year is the period which you have to wait for that. That is what I meant.
Okay. Was the trainer's topic time management?
That's humor.
I leave it to you.
Yeah. So one more thing is, like right now you are talking about the regional trainers.
Yeah.
Like suppose I am from Mumbai.
Okay.
So if I want to be a part of your team, then
You
how
can,
do you go
because
about
we are actually sincerely expanding.
So how do we go about it?
Now we can discuss about that actually, yeah, for sure.
Yes, we have a question from the center.
From the trainer's perspective or from the speaker's perspective, how do we get to know, like we just heard two things. You said time management, you said takeaways. The trainers and speakers also struggle to find out what is the need in the market so they can prepare accordingly. So I think in this forum it could be very good, like you said, if you put it on your website or something, it'll be damn good if we, then this entire lot of people sitting here would be able to focus that this is the market demand.
Sure.
So we don't get to know the market demand.
Agreed. That's a lacuna.
So that
Yeah.
could be a very good way of collaborating.
Sure.
We give lots of opportunities to the trainers, but like how everyone is sitting here, if you call your clients in the room, they have come here because of the trust of professional speaker, right? And it had happened with us. We had called a trainer through reference. He was an international speaker. And if we give them 30-minute slot, we tell them what he's supposed to talk and he knows everything. And audience come with the expectation and trust in us. And when that speaker starts speaking and marketing, like mic uske haath mein, like right now mic is in my hand, nobody can control what I'm speaking. But my reputation...
I can ask for it to be switched off.
But it is my event. It is the name and reputation of my company. All the people have trusted me and come here. I gave opportunity to that person to come here and speak for half an hour. And I agreed that, okay, last 5 minutes you can do a little bit of marketing. But he didn't give the value to my people. Okay, and he was just talking about what he is. It was upsetting me, and I was getting so restless. So, have you ever faced such situation? That how to stop him?
That's you need to have your Venkatesh approach. You need Venkatesh's approach, which
No,
is
it's a
due
costly
diligence.
experience which you have to undergo. You will, in training, you have both the ends actually. I have an experience with one of the client, one of the celebrity was gone to a college. I was not referred because I didn't refer him. They asked me, is he okay? I said, okay. The person is okay. They have paid him 8 lakhs. I'm telling about for half an hour. He went to the stage. I don't know, drill kirba. All demands are met. Benz car from airport to college and back to drop. Everything is done. 8 lakhs they have paid. The moment the principal went to the stage and he started reading the annual report, he went to the stage. He said, I have come to see you all. And then he said, bye. Finished. 8 lakh is out. He didn't even speak. That is the kind of experience they had actually. Actually, that is the opportunity for me. From that year, the client has come to me. 9 years I served them without any problem. So you create an opportunity for us.
You want to say something?
Yeah, can I say that yeah. So, with Omran's permission and Mr. Venkatesh's permission, I just want to, he asked me about the bad experiences. I also want to share the other part of it. 30th of August, 2017, I'm chairing an event called Entrepreneurs of the Year Award. It's a signature event of Coimbatore. We spend around $35,000 to $40,000 for a 2-hour event. Shivakumar Palniyappan has attended. And that year, I'm the chair. So we have an international speaker. We have a professional MC because we didn't want to take any risks, even though it's only 2 hours. We have the who's who of Coimbatore in that audience of 300 people, possibly net worth in excess of $1 billion sitting in that room. And 2 hours before, the MC was known to me, so I did not really check on him or ask him for prep and all that. So I said hi to him, and he said, Jay, everything is good. Just a small update for you. The flight came a little bit late. My suitcase didn't come. I don't have a jacket. The MC says this. I'm like, okay, no problem. We'll figure that out. And then I forget about it. And then the event is about to start, and our keynote speaker from the US, he's run 50 marathons, triathlons, that is 50 marathons in 50 days in 50 states, okay? That is marathon, cycling, and swimming, consecutively, 50 days in 50 different states of the US, along with his family. It was like a really powerful event. He's landed in Bombay, he's taken the flight off, and the flight has landed in Coimbatore. Everybody's left the flight, he's not there. We know he landed in Bombay, and we know the flight is in Coimbatore, he's not there. So we have the MC without a jacket, and we have the international speaker missing, right? And I am the chair. 300 people in front of me. So the MC comes in and he's completely decked up, suit, tie, everything. And like, I was planning to give you my suit, but you're taller than me. He said, no problem, I went and purchased it. The MC is Kriba Shankar, by the way. That's the kind of effort he took. And James Lawrence is the speaker. He missed his connecting flight due to some flight delay in Bangalore. And there was no direct flight. He spent his own money. He took another flight with all the other issues that he had, and he still landed. The event has started. I still don't have a speaker. I was planning to speak myself, actually. So that's how I'm becoming a speaker. And he came in jet-lagged, and he delivered a kick-ass keynote. And from that day, we've started something called the My EO Fitness Group. So many thousands of kilometers has been run by our members after that talk. So many people have done a 42K, including my buddy who ran a 42K in Bombay. So this is the positive side of customer experience. So if you can look at not just from, of course, the content is king and content is super important, but you can also look at it just like any business, the customer experience. What can you do to make the customer experience seamless, frictionless, flawless? I'm sure you'll go, miles, right? So I came in yesterday thinking I'm going to listen as the voice of the customer and share with you whatever I learned today. But afternoon, I went and signed up. I'm now a member of PSAI as well. So that's how this session has been. So thank you, guys. Thank you, Omran.
Please join me in thanking Jayanthra and Venkatesh for their incredible insights today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Omran, for the facilitating. Amazing.